What's going on? Welcome back to the Look Mum I'm Hustling podcast. We're actually right in the middle of watching Coachella live on YouTube. They've actually spent doing the entire weekend across I think 6 stages, all of it's broadcast live on YouTube, which is actually crazy. Blink just started 15 minutes ago. We had to drop what we're doing, do this podcast right now. I think we'll watch some of the acts later, but it's so crazy watching so many acts and such a high production quality event live on YouTube.
It's actually really amazing what they've done. You mentioned it, they were filming it yesterday, and I was just like, oh, okay, cool, no worries. And then we had a look today, and just the camera quality is absolutely amazing, just interchanging between the sets and stuff. I just think about when we used to go to gigs or festivals back in the day, or you just had to wait for the DVD release or someone to have some sort of bootleg uploaded on the internet.
Yep.
But now a festival as huge as Coachella having this sort of production is actually not revolutionary, but it's they've never really done this before, right?
Not really. I think it's the first of its kind. Obviously there's been different events live streamed and stuff. Coachella's probably one of the biggest global festivals. There's 3 days. There's hundreds of acts, and then obviously it's a huge, diverse range of types of acts as well. You got rock, you got hip hop, electronic.
You sound like you're 80. The electrical music.
The ones with the electrical devices.
Yes.
But it's just crazy that how much effort and money and production quality would be going into it. I used to watch Big Day Outs live on Channel V all the time, and they were live streamed at the time, but it's a bit different now compared to live on YouTube with obviously people streaming globally as opposed to just in their one country.
Yeah.
And I think there's links to buy merch and stuff live in the app. So you can, the amount of money they can generate from this outside of the actual patrons going to the festival is pretty crazy.
Yeah, without a doubt. Just the link out to just be fully interactive. So you're really liking the set. So you're like, oh, I'm already online. Let me just open up into another browser and see what merch is available.
Yep.
And they also have ads on the videos as well, which is another generation income for YouTube if you think about it. So imagine people just being on that YouTube platform for the whole day of today, just interchange between different sets and all that kind of stuff. It's very, very smart, and I can see a lot of more festivals be able to do this because maybe a little one not little one, but Splendor in the Grass is probably Australia's version of Coachella, if you think about it. So just all those interchangeable sets and being able to watch it. But it's such a fun idea, especially if you're not in America. It's such more of a global access rather than just being in one particular place.
They have filmed them before because you can watch a lot of the other previous year's acts and stuff. But in terms of live streaming it for the entire day, and obviously it pretty ends at midnight or something, they're just going to do replays through to the next stage. So I believe the channel has about 5 or 6 streams going for each stage simultaneously. It'll just be a 3 or 4 day constant stream. So yeah, I'm just more fascinated with the amount of camera gear, the production team, how many hundreds of people are going to be working the switches and stuff.
Oh, for
checking
sure.
Audio, checking cameras.
Yeah.
We have hard enough time recording a 1 hour podcast.
Two microphones and a
two
camera.
Two microphones and a camera without anything blowing up or exploding.
Yeah.
So and plus the actual navigation of the artist coming on and off stage, the set design.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a pretty crazy event.
Well, just even before we were watching Blink just that little behind the scenes snippet as well, while they were just prepping, doing stretches, sort of trying to get their vibes up and not be as nervous. But it's such a nice insight because you could tell that they're a little bit nervous. It's been a while since they've played, but just to be able to see your favorite act and then just have that little bit behind the scenes before they're performing is really cool as well. Because you only ever see that final end result, them being on stage, but you don't see all these 50 people running around in the background trying to make sure everything's going smoothly.
Wait 1 minute, one of the microphones just broke or something. We've got to go and replace it. And all those little things that do happen, but you don't see. It's just exciting to watch. I don't think they're going to, obviously they're not going to leave a 4-day live stream uploaded. You got to kind of catch it all now, and then the best parts will be chopped up and shortened down. But the ability that you have on YouTube now anyway, any video you watch, you can essentially make a clip or a short of on your own. There's tools inside of YouTube now. If you like this podcast, you can clip out your favorite 1 minute and do I think it's called a remix, and do your own take or interpretation of it, or do a reply to a certain part
or a live reaction as well.
So you could be doing that nonstop and generating more content. yeah, I don't think they'll leave it up online forever because it kind of devalues the actual event and a live performance. They want everyone in there now that can't make the festival because obviously not everyone in the world can go there.
Yeah.
But if everyone can experience it in real time, then it's just like the Twitter culture will start tweeting about it all weekend. The news, or the main news sites will be talking about it if something interesting happens. So it's just like a 3 or 4 day like attention fest.
Yeah. Could you imagine if they did leave it up or just maybe like super long form? Like the amount of AdSense they'd get from it, like people watching, all that kind of thing. Like, so yeah, not only are they getting money from the tickets being sold, they'll be getting money from like the drinks and that are sold like on the day.
At the actual event as well as that's the interesting part. They can make it all on the digital side of things and then they sell merch not just to the people that are there. They can sell merch globally. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy when you think about it. And the production quality itself is substantial, but I guess sporting events do the same thing anyway. Like if you go to the NFL's probably got dozens and dozens of cameras and people doing that as well. But I guess it's more the multi-day aspect to it and the musical element of it as well.
Yeah, the multi-day, multi-stage, all these like moving parts and stuff. So now that you mentioned, like they do it for sport all the time, but yeah, the fact that they're only sort of like now doing this for music and then live streamed. I mean, I think on ABC they would have like, the live sets on TV, but on YouTube is very, very smart because that's where people's attention are.
And it's on every TV as well. You
100%.
Just, like you said, just put it on in the background.
Yeah. I know that's what we're going to be doing. Put it on the background while we're doing for the rest of the day after the pod.
Yeah. The thing is there's 6 stages, so you can't really watch all. It's not like you want to watch every act anyway. Like they're kind of spread out a fair bit.
But it's actually like if you're going to the real festival, because just say if you like several artists, you have to pick which stage to go to anyway. So you have to pick which feed to watch. Yeah, it's super interesting. Like rather than, just stacking it on and like having it for like a week long, they're doing it in real time as if you're actually there and have to pick who you want to see.
You get a lot less sweaty at home as well. You can have your aircon on, you can order some snacks. It's like game day on a sport day. You can order some pizzas in, watch your favorite band.
Coachella day.
Yeah. If it's the time zone's so wacky though. It's like midday here and it's 8 o'clock there.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a morning to midday thing here in Australia.
Yeah.
But in saying that, like it is a unique thing and they'll obviously do it year after year after year now. They're not going to just do it once and like revert it and go back to the old ways. But there's not, again, what I said at the start is like there's not that many global festivals that are widely known that could pull this off and generate the interest. Like there's Glastonbury in the UK, but it's not as big. It's a lot more UK based. I mean, like Woodstock back in the day would have been like the one that could have
Vans Warped Tour.
Vans Warped Tour could work for sure. But Coachella's such a wide range of genres and artists, whereas Vans is mostly like punk and rock. Yeah. So yeah, very, very exciting. We're going to miss the entire Blink act, which is the main thing I wanted to watch. Unfortunately, the dog walker got booked at precisely the wrong time.
I know, like literally as he booked out, I come in, I'm like, is that Blink? You're like, yeah, they're on now. I'm like, what are the odds, honestly? But yeah, hopefully they'll chop it up and be able to watch it up later.
Awesome. So yeah, that's exciting. Normally we do like a playlist at the end.
But I'd say watch this.
I'd say watch this for the weekend. The thing is, this episode will come out on Monday morning, which is Sunday their time. So if you're listening to this first thing Monday morning, you've probably only got about 6 hours left of their Sunday event to watch it.
But check it out. Like,
hopefully they leave it up for a bit longer and you can go back and replay, but they'll chop all the best bits up. But I mean, chopping things up into 3 or 4 minute chunks is good, but you can't leave it on all day in the background because the TV is going to be like, "Are you doing a watch?" It's going to pause the live stream or the videos rather.
Ideally, like full sets would be awesome, like the Blink full set, like an actual full set. Yeah, and then that way you know that people are actually going to watch, like 45 minutes long. Like
again, that's what they used to do for Big Day Out. Channel V used to they'd have I don't know, they'd have the events on in January, for example. And then later in the year, they'd just have like a live music week or something, and then they'd play the entire set. But they could do that back then because there wasn't much access to like a full live set. Yes. Whereas now there's just so much content on YouTube, it kind of devalues the band and the actual brand of Coachella to make it fully available.
But just like, because it's all professionally done as well, like you're going to get all the best camera angles. You're going to get like the best audio. You're going to get.
Compared to standing in a sweaty crowd.
Yeah, in a crowd and just like someone's like camera like shaking.
Well, that's, you look at Blink when they were playing, then it's their first a show or event with the original crew.
Lineup,
The original lineup. I mean, they've been split up for like 5-10 years. Mark had cancer. Tom has been chasing aliens. Travis married a Kardashian. A lot has changed in the last 5-10 years.
So like it's so very like diverse of what they've been up to.
Everyone had their phone out filming it because it's a historic thing in that band's timeline, at least.
Yes.
The reformation, because they're doing it again. I keep saying again, but it's the first time I've mentioned it in this pod. It's they've announced the 2-year tour basically, which is, I think we talked about it on after our pod break, the first episode we had.
Yeah, I think we talked about Blink. Yeah.
So exciting times. I think Kid Leroy's on a bit later. Might watch that. Not the biggest fan, but in terms of supporting a Sydney sider,
yes,
watch a little bit of Kid Leroy.
Little lad there.
His hoodies are like $70.
All right.
Yeah. Don't know if I want one of those though.
No. Well, that's where a lot of artists would make their money, like from touring, right? Like because of with streaming and the way that music is released now, that a lot of the times they don't make a lot of money from the actual album release.
Yeah.
So it's everything else. So be with touring, be selling their merch, all those little extra bits is like where they're going to be able to make that extra dosh, right? So, $70 sort of makes sense if you need to be able to support yourself or support your business.
70 cents.
No, $70. Didn't I say?
$70.
Yeah.
I know, maybe I wasn't listening.
I might have said 70 cents to support the business. And then the fact that now Coachella have like the links out to their merch as well. So not only can they sell to people who are there, is it recording? Yeah. Not only are they selling selling to people who are there, they get to sell to people that are watching online as well. So they're getting double, triple the eyes of being able to sell that merch. So more money for the artists.
I love it.
It's a cool concept.
Cool concept.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think I've mentioned before, I like watching long content on YouTube simply to let it play in the background. There's a channel called, I think it's called Analog. What's that music one I listen to? I think it's Analog Journal.
Yes.
And it's just like long DJ sets. And it's just, like a playlist in the background.
Yeah. I love that set as well, by the way, because it's just like nice and calming with like indoor plants and like books and like a whole bunch of old school record vinyls and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess our playlist recommendation for this week, we're going to do it at the front of the episode rather than the end of the episode, is to try and catch some Coachella while you can. If not, there'll be plenty of other clips and stuff going up online over the next few weeks. But speaking of streaming,
yes,
HBO has got a new app now. I think you mentioned something about Harry Potter the other week, and then I started Googling it. And apparently there's going to be a new streaming service in the ranks, or to compete with Netflix and I guess, do we say the Australian ones here, like Binge and Stan, or we say like Hulu?
Binge is like maybe, yeah, but it's like all these like little apps and stuff have done like a Power Ranger move and like meshed together as like a big like, rah, we're gonna like compete with everybody else, but they're signing a few.
Power Rangers, they're all working together though.
Maybe like. Okay. Anyway, Power Rangers in the different colors, whatever it is.
So they're not even working as a team to defeat a bad guy. They're just fighting each other. We need
Unless they're working as a team to like grab our attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
nice spin.
Yeah. So it's like to grab our attention. So now they're combining together when they be that big robot or the big dinosaur, whatever it is.
The Power Rangers have to kill one another, so there's one that rules all.
What? So like Highlander, there can only be one?
Well, yeah, technically. Well, not technically, but like that's their mentality, right? The competitive mentality. HBO Max is now becoming Max. So I'll read through this document, which was kind of interesting. Again, some of the streaming services in terms of the way they're branded and structured is a bit different here in Australia due to licensing.
Yes.
Deals and whatnot.
Well, yeah, because like a big thing for Australia is like we have a different rating system, so things need to pass through that rating system to then be able to get released here in Australia, and
just the way the businesses are structured.
It's a little bit different.
So after a merger that led to the shelving of several projects, including Batgirl, I think we mentioned this a while ago as well, when Warner Brothers started canning a bunch of these movies and DC movies and stuff like that.
When they're merging with Discovery and stuff,
Correct.
and they were trying to there's a whole new.
It was probably like 2 months ago, so now they're actually announce what's going to happen
Yes.
going forward into the future. Yep. After shelving several projects, Warner Brothers Discovery. Oh, you're kidding me. Ad.
Okay.
Announced that its next big move, combining HBO Max and Discovery into one streaming service, which will be called Max. So Warner Brothers Discovery announced several major developments about Max on Wednesday the 12th, just a few days ago, including what content to expect from Max and how much it will cost. It's also announced, which is super exciting, the new projects we can expect down the line, like a Game of Thrones spin-off, another one. Have you've never even watched it in its I haven't watched the last 2 seasons, but I think you've watched way less. You've watched nothing by that face.
No, I've watched season 1.
Right.
And a bit of season 2, and then that's it.
Maybe that can be our thing, because we're always juggling. We watched some crap called Florida Man on Netflix last night. I think we need to just go to a tried and true series, but I know the last season isn't great.
I've heard about that, yeah.
But there has been one spin-off already, and there's more coming down the line. So maybe it's potentially something we need to look into. We need to invest a bit more into what we're watching.
Yeah, no, that's true. And Game of Thrones is like a huge fan favorite for a reason, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, let's watch Game of Thrones.
No, I'm not going to commit to it right now.
Oh no, because then we have to.
Maybe we just have a short list.
Yes, okay, something to work towards.
Something to work towards.
Because Breaking Bad is also another one of those ones.
Well, Breaking Bad, again, I watched probably half of it, but I know Better Call Saul is. I've heard so many incredible reviews. There's people saying it's the best TV show of all time.
Aren't people saying it's better than Breaking Bad as well?
It's definitely better than Breaking Bad, apparently. But I believe the characters and everything, it's supposed to be a banger of a show. So maybe that's going to edge out Game of Thrones on the shortlist. Back to the article.
Yeah.
Things you can expect down the line, like a Game of Thrones spin-off and a Harry Potter TV series. Here's what you need to know.
Kind of the little girl in me is very excited for the Harry Potter TV series.
Yep.
Because the movies are great, right? The movies are good, but for anyone, I'm looking at all you nerdy friends out there that have read the books, so much was left out. There's just so much detail within the books. Order of Phoenix, for example, is a big fat book
fatty.
A big fatty book. And there's just so much stuff, so many little details and stuff that were just left out. So it'd be really interesting because I heard that they're gonna make one season per book, which would be amazing. So imagine probably 8 to 10 episodes, I guess, per season of focused on one book. The development, all that kind of stuff will be amazing. And then you'd have all these they've already got spin-off movies, so there'll probably be even spin-off TV shows and stuff would be awesome.
Okay, let's get into it because it could there's on this article here, but from Mashable, you can look it up yourself if you want. There's a bit of pricing tiers, which is, again, they're going to be competitive with the other streaming services. But in terms of Harry Potter, not the biggest fan, but I don't despise it necessarily. I enjoy it for sure.
Just not your jam.
But I'm curious to know if it's, they're saying here, the show will be a faithful adaptation of the original books. So it's not new stories. It's not different spin-offs, new characters. It's the original material.
Yes.
But like I said, lengthened out to a TV series. So is this going to diminish the movies and the legacy that's created? Obviously, there's going to be new actors, an entire new cast. It could be interesting to see what happens. I know the Lord of the Rings thing, it wasn't necessarily a adaptation of the original stuff. It was a spin-off side thing.
Yeah.
But they notoriously have horrible ratings, even despite spending so much money on the production.
Well, if you use Star Wars, for example, they've done really well with that, I think. So with all the spin-off shows and everything. And think about how popular the new Harry Potter game is. People are absolutely loving it, raving about it. So it's just one of those things, Harry Potter fans, because it's such a lengthy book and because people still read it today, I think it's going to be fine because you're going to have this whole new generation of people because the movies are 15 years old now. They're really, really old.
Yeah. So the people that would have watched it our age, they're 10 to 15 are now parents. They're going to sit down and watch it with their kids.
Yes.
But the thing is, the original movies are still pretty timeless. They still hold up. There's not much that's going to take away from them in terms of making them less interesting or credible visually.
Yeah. I think it'll just be all the little things that were left out that people are going to love. Like they're talking about in this article, they left out Peas the poltergeist.
Of course, Peas. You gotta add Peas.
No, but he's like a whole character throughout the whole entire series, and they just didn't do him because he's a ghost, and it's like super hard to, I guess, maybe do that as special effects and stuff.
And things that the technology and CGI has come a long way.
Oh, 100%.
Already.
Yeah. And I think because of, you know, shows like Star Wars or The Mandalorian or things like that have just really shown that, yes, you know, people do love the movies, but if you expand the universe or even redo it, people are still going to watch it.
Yeah. It's interesting when you're talking about competition, your Power Rangers analogy.
Yeah.
HBO is known as producing some of the best quality TV shows.
Yes.
The Wire, Oz,
Sopranos,
all that stuff.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Did they do? They did do HBO, right?
I think so.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So it could go off amazingly. You'd expect it to because the hit rate in the past has been pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But in terms of competing as like a streaming service is one thing, but to compete with the IP of like a globally loved franchise like Harry Potter, it could just be the other thing that everyone just gets into, and it's the water cooler thing, right? Like Star Wars, there's so many different TV shows. It's almost like too much now.
Yeah.
There's Mandalorian, there's Andor, there's Bad Batch, there's
Obi-Wan.
There's Obi, there's one about that Asaka chick as well. Like there's too much now, to be honest.
Yeah, they can be. And
I mean, they're doing 3 more movies based on, I think, Rey. They've announced that. Have you seen that as well?
No, I haven't.
So I think it's 15 years later, they're doing another trilogy.
Right.
Following Rey, I believe.
Okay. Well, yeah, it could either be a detriment or it could be a good thing. Like, there's so many high expectations for, like, the Harry Potter franchise. And even for Game of Thrones, there'll be high expectations because people like, make up for the last episode kind of thing. So it could flop, but it could be amazing.
If I had to choose between another Star Wars series, a Game of Thrones series, and a Harry Potter series, I think I'd be more invested in Harry Potter, just me personally.
Right.
Just because of the limited other content in that world, in that canon.
Yes, I get ya.
Game of Thrones is just so many seasons, so many hours to invest in already. Harry Potter's like, what, on average 2 hours per movie or something? How many movies? 6 movies?
No, there's like 7 movies.
Okay, so like 12 to 15 hours in total, right? That's just one season of Game of Thrones. So in terms of how much time you can spend invested in that, there's less time at the moment to be invested in Harry Potter, which leaves you wanting more.
No, 100%. And if you think about like all the TV shows and stuff out there, there's heaps of like medieval ones. There's heaps of, I guess, like outer space, like science fiction ones, like Star Trek and stuff. But there's not a lot of wizardy fantasy ones.
Wizard content.
Well, you got Wizards at Waverly Place with like Selena Gomez, but like that's about it.
You got Sabrina.
Oh, yes, Sabrina.
Witches,
my girl.
Same thing, right? Wizard and witches, the same thing, right?
Wizards are meant to be like dudes and like witches are meant to be like women. So
we're going to move into like a potential non-binary. They can't even call it witchcraft because it's a female.
Well, I think they're just all called wizards. Like it's potato, whatever. They all have magical powers.
Wizards. Like there has to be some sort of like they them element.
Probably. I don't know. Who knows?
So let's have you watched this trailer? Is this anything interesting?
Oh, I haven't watched it.
Because they wouldn't have started filming or casting for it yet. They would have just announced that like they're going to dump a bunch of money into it.
Well, because you have to pick the right cast as well because they start off at like 12 years old.
Correct. And they'd have to like, I mean, this could be, that's the same, like the interesting thing about Stranger Things. You follow the kids throughout the seasons. This is going to be, because like each year, each book or each movie is like 1 year of them at school.
Correct.
And if this is going to be a multi-year thing, we're going to be invested. They got to pick those kids spot on.
100%.
Because you can't have one leave midway through, which means their deals are going to be insane, which means that it's going to be multi-millionaires set for life the second they get cast.
Yeah. And like
they're going to be global names immediately.
100%. Little things like Harry Potter's actually meant to have green eyes, not blue eyes. Like little things like that.
We're going that far into the detail.
But like think about like Severus Snape is like a fan favorite. Like how are you meant to like replace Alan Rickman? Like it's going to be very interesting to see what they do.
Okay. So a bunch of new rich people coming. It's not going to be anything in this trailer. It's just going to be like...
Just like floating.
I will say the Harry Potter game on PlayStation was amazing.
That's it.
That was the trailer.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. As we said, we've got a Penguin movie coming.
Oh,
So
okay.
2024. I think it's Colin Farrell plays Penguin.
Right.
What kind of life do I want?
I don't know how I feel about this because I used to have like a reoccurring nightmare about Penguin from
Even
Batman.
once, I'll get you
when I was
like
a
a
kid.
goddamn fish.
So plenty of extra stuff coming out in terms of.
Oh, that's right. And a Big Bang Theory project
Big Bang
apparently
series,
as well.
Yeah, we don't need that though.
Middle-aged Sheldon.
We don't need any more Sheldon at all.
Big Bang was like the new Friends. Like I think everyone knows about like the watching Big Bang without the laugh track behind it. Like it's just really bad.
It's horrible.
Oh, so bad.
They really just sold it on us being comedic when it wasn't.
Yeah.
We got a Conjuring TV series, which is like a horror thriller type thing.
Mm-hmm.
True Detective new season. Did you ever watch True Detective?
No, actually.
You didn't watch the first season's a classic.
Yeah, apparently I just haven't watched anything good on HBO.
Wow, we need a pen and paper to get this shortlist. True Detective season 1.
Like I know it's good. I've just never watched it. When I do the timestamps for this episode, I'll just write down like the series that we talk about that I should have watched by now.
I can't believe you haven't seen it.
Because there's a True Detective one with Woody Harrelson and
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey.
I mean, they're two incredible actors. I can't believe
Yes.
you haven't seen that.
No, I just haven't.
And you love like detective crime work stuff.
I do.
As well.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff. It looks like a prequel series, Gremlins. There's a lot of interesting stuff coming, which I'm not opposed to a Gremlins sequel.
Mhm.
Cartoon Network. So it'd be a animated thing, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting stuff coming down the pipeline of the streaming. We got Coachella, we got HBO Max. It's going to be a while before this stuff kicks off because, I mean, to do a Harry Potter TV series is going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yes. Oh, without a doubt. But it's also probably going to generate hundreds of millions of dollars. But it's interesting.
Well, you'd have to sign up to the platform. Like, how many people are going to sign up just for that?
To wait for it.
And if you know every year there's a new season coming out,
Mhm.
that means they've got whatever $15 a month for 12 months times 5 years times minimum like what 10 million people. Like I don't even know how many people are signed up to the next Netflix. That's hundreds of $1 million immediately.
Yeah. And then, because like, remember back in the day, like when Netflix sort of like was starting to get popular, they had Disney shows on there, they had HBO shows on there and stuff like that. But now all these platforms are like taking them away,
Yep.
just so they can have their own platforms and stuff. So I think that's why Netflix is doing more original content because they can't buy that other content.
Yeah. And a lot of the Netflix original exclusive stuff isn't that great because
I mean, you got a few. You got the War in the Western. Didn't that win like the Academy or something like that? But like but they probably have like maybe like 5 amazing things per year.
people just want TV more than movies now.
Yeah.
Like Ozark.
Well,
like-
long form. They just don't want that quick, you know.
Well, look at we did Beef last week, and that was like super long. Like we watched White Lotus. Those episodes are some of them are more than an hour long.
Yes.
So you're getting that's what I'm saying with the Game of Thrones example and Harry Potter. There's so much time you're investing in characters.
Mhm.
You want to like know you're getting what you sat down. You're sitting down. You're sacrificing your time. You're disregarding other content to sit down and enjoy it. You want to know it's getting a payoff. That's the thing about that Florida Man show we watched last night. Watched half of one episode. I'm like, there's no character development. I'm not invested in anything right now. You're getting straight into the story.
Mhm.
I don't feel anything about any of these characters immediately compared to like Beef from last week. The first episode, you can see their background of the person, the character.
Mhm.
Like you said, it pulls you in, pulls at your emotional heartstrings, makes you feel like part of you connects with them or their lifestyle. If you don't hit that and you expect people to stick around for 10 hours, then you've lost the audience immediately.
Well, I think like because like when you used to watch TV, you'd just it was the only thing that was on, so you were just happy with like junk or with like I guess just medium quality sort of stuff. But now that we get to pick what it is that we want, like people have to make really good content or really good shows or really good movies, else we're just going to switch and watch something else. So I think that's why the quality of TV shows is so amazing now, and probably the notice of the drop off of like the movies that you watch on those streaming platforms are just like meh, just because there's I don't know, like I think it's just like the demand for your attention, so it has to be the best quality ever, so you don't switch to watch something else.
In saying that, there's so much junk on there. So like what's stopping us from like closing down, like this is just a question I'm going to throw out there. What's stopping us from like canceling Netflix today?
The first thing I thought of was like, my mum's got to log in and your parents have got to log
Yeah, well,
in.
they can pay for it themselves.
Yeah.
We're just being helpful, young kiddos.
To be honest, I don't think we're watching anything on Netflix at the moment. Like, if we did shut it down today, I probably wouldn't miss it.
But what's stopping you from canceling it?
Just the possibility of being able to watch something good.
So, which is basically FOMO for like the
Right.
next best thing that's coming out.
Mhm.
So they're teetering you on the edge of canceling. There's plenty of new crappy things coming out every day,
Yeah.
but you're willing to wait until the next week. What's coming out? The next week, what's coming out?
Mhm.
So they can still invest money into bad projects. You kind of don't know if they're going to be a hit immediately anyway. It's like with an artist, with a song, they don't know what song is going to be their big hit. They just make stuff that they enjoy or have invested time or money into, and then hopefully something hits. So there's plenty of bad stuff coming, but you're hooked on because you know something good is coming down the line.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, you don't want to miss out. You know that there's eventually going to be something good that's going to come down the track. You just have to wade through all like the bad stuff to begin with.
Yeah. And it's like investments, for example.
Mhm.
If you invest in 20 companies, generally 18 of them are going to
Go
go bust or not really do anything. And then one or two is going to be the bangers and make up for the rest of the stuff. How does Netflix make their money? Off subscriptions, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be 80% of the 80-20 analysis. 80% of them are just going to be average and get average viewer retention.
Mhm.
And then 20% are what's going to have everyone on there. Your Stranger Things, your Beef, like whatever like the big banger is for like that month or that quarter is what's going to get everyone back, everyone watching.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where they can cover their losses on their less popular shows.
That's fair. Yeah, so just like if they do that once a month thing, it sort of stops you from like, canceling the subscription, waiting for the next thing. Because
if they only had just the bangers coming and none of these like little average things peppered in, then you wouldn't. Would you cancel and just resubscribe every month, sort of thing, or when the next thing comes? Like they kind of keep after peppering it in to not lose you completely.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going to come out.
Imagine if they just I cut you off a second time in a row. Imagine if they just released 5 things per year.
Mm-hmm.
But you knew they were all great, but they were 3 months apart. You'd cancel for 2 months and then jump back on. So they have to keep peppering it in.
That's very true. Because like take Disney, for example, we cancel that all the time and re-get it depending on what's getting released and what's on there. So yeah, like no, that does make sense. You want to keep people guessing. So then you keep wondering when the next best thing is going to come out.
Speaking of making money from these streaming services, we do have Binge, which is an app here in Australia. And I think Netflix has done this as well recently. Their lower tier, they've introduced ads. The lower subscription tier, they've introduced ads now to generate a bit more income because obviously, like at some point, they're not making enough money off your $10 subscription.
Gotcha.
So they throw a few ads in.
Oh, so that's why we haven't seen it on Netflix because we've got the higher tier subscription.
Correct.
And that's why we're seeing it on Binge because we've only just got the
And there's not that much content on Binge. Like we're teetering on the edge of canceling that every other week.
Yes. Yeah.
White Lotus kept us hooked on there, but now there's not much on there. We can cancel it until
the new season comes out.
The next thing comes out that we're interested in. So that's how they work. So in terms of your Power Rangers, it's got to be someone that like reigns supreme, has a bunch of average stuff.
Like the White Power Ranger.
What's the White?
The White Power Ranger was like the strongest one, right? He would come in every now and then, or he was like the ninja. Was it the Black Power Ranger or the White? I don't know. He would have like the one color because he had like blue, green, yellow, pink, red. So the 5, and then you'd have like the special white one that would come in and be like,
White power. You're saying?
No, definitely not.
So like looking at this from a wider lens, like a bird's eye view of the Coachella live stream, the cool part is you can buy stuff in app.
Yes.
They can make more money outside of just the viewing experience. With Netflix on the TV, I'm trying to like combine two things into one. With Binge, you don't get the ads that I'm talking about on the TV. You only get them on the laptop. And the reason we worked out was pretty common sense is on the laptop, you can click the ad into a new browser and then purchase something. On the TV, there's no web browser for you to purchase anything. So that's, I guess, in the future, there's probably going to be different ways that these streaming services can add in um, purchasable products
Yes.
onto the TV, so you can buy stuff in the TV. Obviously, your TV is going to need to have your credit card details, so you can just do like a one-click Amazon type purchase.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because not everyone. I don't think that many people watch movies and stuff on their laptops or on their phones because you want to get the full experience.
Yeah,
and that's only on TV, right?
Yeah.
But sooner or later, they're going to have to start working on the ability to purchase on TV,
TVs, yeah.
like you want to buy like a Blink 182 shirt through the stream. When Harry Potter comes out, you want to buy the new wand. How are they going to introduce that? So you're like, oh, that episode was so good, I want to buy that wand. So I think products, not services, but products available through TV will probably have to be coming down the line, right?
Well, there's a feature in YouTube. So if you're watching YouTube on the TV and an ad pops up, you have send ad to phone button. So you can...
Is there? Okay.
Yeah. So, and that will send it to your phone.
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So unless if they'd have something like that, so send to your phone.
That would be easier than like building it straight into the TV, because that means another device that has your bank details, which no one really enjoys doing.
Yeah.
And obviously entering stuff on the TV remote to pay in the ass anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe send to phone would be the way they get around that.
Yeah. Because the only other sort of ads that I would see that would work on the TV version would be like that in-platform app, like advertising their next upcoming TV show or next upcoming thing for you to watch.
Interesting. I think we've just basically unraveled the future. They have to, right? Because if they've got to start introducing ads at this lower tier, they need to make money. People love spending money on their favorite shows or their favorite content. Like people love spending money on Star Wars. Maybe not so much White Lotus. Like what can you buy? But like these global franchises, Star Trek, Star Wars, Harry Potter, people want to spend money on that stuff.
Yeah. Well, for White Lotus, because the only time we ever usually watch it on laptop is like when we're transitioning from like bed, like from TV to bed and just having like, bedroom, that 20-minute like wind down or whatever. Like when we're watching White Lotus, it's a travel ad. Like to get like cheap travel tickets and stuff. So,
or a KFC zinger.
Yeah, that's right. Little snack in bed. Yeah, like that's probably the only way that I sort of really see those ads working. Like unless if there's going to be some better way that your phone communicates to the TV, but there's so many different TV brands and there's so many different phone brands that's going to be a little bit harder, to use your phone as the remote or whatever it is. So it has to be like something that would send it to the phone.
It has to be to phone then, because if someone has a Sony, an LG or Samsung, there either has to be a universally adopted or agreed upon system for each because you have to have the brands of the TV and the software that they integrate into their TV link up with the apps on the TV, the streaming services, and have a way of communicating. But like, it'd have to be a globally recognized thing. Every app would have to have the same button feature, and every TV brand would have to have the same thing. So it would be send to phone only.
Yeah.
Fucking smart over here.
Well, well, YouTube already have it, so it's just like I saw that.
I don't know. Well, have you ever used it though?
No, because I don't want ads on my phone. Like I'm not. I don't really buy that stuff because I'm just not interested in it.
And you're not invested in because YouTube's a bit different. It's individual
it's like
creators.
A standard ad,
But if it's a big IP like Harry Potter, I'm just thinking Harry Potter here. Like they're gonna want to sell stuff.
Yeah.
And like online purchases is more and more popular. Not everyone wants to go into Kmart to buy something.
Or like Harry Potter Lego or something. It'd just be like an ad for that. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Like we'll be like, what if a season ends? We're gonna be back in 12 months. We want to keep you mildly engaged with the brand until then.
Yeah.
Here's some Lego that's gonna take you 9 months to build.
Yeah, literally like the Hogwarts castle or something. Yeah, but that's the future of like streaming, and then having a sense of like advertising, being unique as well, because like all that streaming advertising is a lot more like localized. It's a lot more like personalized now as well, based on your information. But yeah, it's very interesting.
People love spending money.
They do. We don't.
We don't.
No.
But you've found some stuff this week about, I think you've uncovered a new
saving trend
or something. Cash stuffing.
It's called cash stuffing. Yeah, so it became like heaps popular on TikTok. I remember seeing it like ages ago. So this one here, get out of that one. So this, oh man, Heaps pop-ups, yeah.
Pop-up magnetism.
Yep. So this is called cash stuffing. So you said you haven't heard of this, right?
I'm guessing it's just saving, just with a fancy new name.
Yeah, well, pretty much, yeah. So this woman was drowning in debt before she tried cash stuffing. Now she made the highly effective practice a full-time business.
Highly effective practice.
Yes.
Okay, so let's break down this article by entrepreneur.com.
Mm-hmm. So, thank you for my bad eyesight. Yeah.
Text for you.
So a Texas woman was $80,000 in debt before she tried a method of budgeting called cash stuffing. Now she's not only paid off her debt, but turned the budgeting practice into a full-time business to help save others.
So
save.
she's capitalizing on a buzzword.
Yes.
Awesome.
Cash stuffing.
Love it.
So budgeting in theory has never been easier in the digital age, yada, yada. However, a new method entirely void of technology is gathering traction after a Texas woman documented a budgeting practice called cash stuffing to pay off thousands of dollars. So
can you give me, without going to this any further, give me the rundown?
So you have several wallets with like a whole bunch of like different price points in it that equal whatever it is that you're trying to save. So you'd have one that would be like $5, $10. I'm pretty sure it goes up. So you got 5, 10.
So different wallets for different denominations of cash.
Yes. Yeah. And then eventually when you fill up all those wallets, you'll have like $5,000 or $10,000 is what I think is what I'm pretty sure it is.
I believe you. I'm trying to work out why it's unique or how it's highly effective. So you have a $5 wallet, a $10 wallet, 20, 50, and you want to put 20 in each of them or something, and when they all got 20, you have a total amount at the end.
No, it's just like if you have like, I think at the end of the week, if you have money left over, then you put it in that appropriate wallet.
Okay.
From what I remember.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Save 20, I think, $1,000 by Christmas. Keep
All right, let's watch
scrolling.
this video.
I just remember like wondering how I was gonna make it through the next month. Like, had a degree, no job, student loan debt hanging over my head, credit card debt hanging over my head. And January 1st came and I was like, I will never be in this position again. And that's when I started researching ways.
Okay, so cash stuffing is a budgeting system that uses envelopes to divide cash.
She sells the actual wallets. That's how she's made her money.
Okay, so she just sells generic
You implement
black
cash
label
stuffing with
wallets.
it by budgeting the money literally and physically with the cash. So that means you start your budget with whatever your paycheck number is, and you give every dollar a place down to zero.
Okay, so I've got the concept here. There's my video at the bottom here.
So I was thinking of a different cash stuffing method. So there's two versions. So this is the other one.
Okay.
So this is, you have, just say you get paid $1,000 a week.
Yep.
Then we have like a digital version of this. So we have a breakdown of like food, car, utilities, everything left over. So each, like, it's like a journal has like the label in the wallet, and you put the money in there and you just can't go over that.
So let me summarize this. If you have a spreadsheet and you budget money, you allocate a certain percentage or dollar amount each week to, like you said, for groceries or for car, you can do that on your banking app, of course, but obviously little transactions, microtransactions can come and go quite easily, and you lose track of where you're at.
Exactly.
Pretty fast. But having things in cash, which I guess is not so frowned upon now post-COVID. Yeah. People are accepting cash now.
They are.
They weren't for a little while.
No.
This is just a method of doing the same thing but with cash. But I guess some purchases you can't really make with cash. Like she has car insurance there. What are you going to get? Where are you going to pay car insurance with cash?
I know.
Unless you go to the bank and then redeposit the money.
Yeah.
So what they're using in these wallets is, everyone's familiar with like a basketball folder or like a Pokemon card folder.
Yes.
It's basically the same thing, but instead of putting like a Pokemon or a sports card in the sleeve, you put in a $5 note. And then if you have like 9 of those per page, you have $45.
Yes.
And then on top of the denomination little slots, you can have like your weekly car insurance or grocery one as well. So they're just micro wallets or sleeves for putting cash in, so stuffing your cash in those wallets.
Yes. Yeah. And so some people find that like this physical aspect is just a bit easy to take yeah, like you said, to keep track of rather than the digital kind.
Because as soon as you take, like, it's easy to like just tap a card on a $2
it's
purchase.
so easy. And think about like how many people just don't even have their wallet on them anymore. It's all stored on your phone. Like it's just an easy transaction. Like if you're buying an app in store, you just do the Face ID and you've purchased it.
Whereas if you have it in this wallet, you have to make at multiple times during the process, you have to make the decision to keep going through. You have to have a craving for, let's say you just want a $5 coffee.
Yes.
You have to have the craving for coffee. You have to, so it's kind of like how many hurdles you have to go through or jump through to lose your money, basically. So you have
100%.
to want your coffee. You have to find the wallet. You have to find a sleeve. You have to pull the money out of the sleeve. Then you have to go and spend the money.
Yes.
And then you've probably got some sort of change you have to deal with. There's a lot more friction.
Yes.
Compared to just tapping your card.
Oh, yes.
So I can see why it would work. But I mean, if this person's like making bank just selling the plastic wallets off Alibaba, then good on them. Like,
yeah, so they've like turned like a saving thing into a side hustle.
They've found someone's problem and they're capitalizing on it.
Yeah.
It's the same as like selling like cheap blank or just notebooks on Amazon, right? They're just buying just blank little crappy wallets.
Well, yeah, and they're using the Cricut machines and just like printing it on there.
Cricut. It's
Cricut. Cricut?
Cricut is like what I want to get on my hair.
I said Cricut.
Cricut?
Cricut.
All right.
Cricut?
I won't pick on you anymore.
Cricut machines.
So cash stuffing.
Yeah.
I think we do a combination of this.
Yes.
I mean, we've read, I think there's Barefoot Investor over there on the shelf behind you.
Yes, true.
We have a combination of, we have like an everyday savings account. Or not even, it's technically a savings account, but it's more of a spending account.
Yes, everyday spendings.
Which all our direct debits come out of. And then we have a couple of cash wallets for things.
Like groceries and petrol and stuff.
Stuff you can use your card on, but you can also easily use cash with. And it's a combination of this cash stuffing method and just a normal savings account method.
Yeah.
And that way we know there's definitely $50 for petrol. It's not $48 because it's shipped away from somewhere else. So it's sort of like a half pregnant approach to either method.
Yeah. Well, the spreadsheet that you've created is very detailed. Like it's based like everything's broken down per week, per month. And then when we get paid each week, we know exactly how much we need to put in that everyday spend account and then how much we get to put aside for savings, for like splurging or like for the house and stuff.
Yep. So, yeah. The problem is if you're Netflix or you're the new to be developed Max,
yes,
this just flies in the face of you getting any more money thrown at you for like products and services.
Yeah.
So that I think big businesses probably despise this sort of stuff where customers actually have control of their money and their budgets and have things in physical cash. They fucking hate that because, again, it's more friction. They can't get that money out of your pocket or out of your bank account.
Yeah. Well, there's like the term that I saw like ages ago. It's like being a caretaker of money. Like if you don't know like what's happening to your money, you don't know where it's going or anything like that, then it just disappears and you just lose it. And then
goes so easily.
Oh, it does. And I know it's happened to us like a handful of times. I'd be like, where did this extra $100 go? Or things like that. Like it happens so easily if you don't pay attention, like not even weekly, like every few days, because you have these little micro things to be like, where is this like $4 Apple thing coming from? Yeah. And then you realize it's an old subscription that you don't have anymore, or to say we paused our Audible and then totally forgot about it, and then 3 months later it started coming out, and it'd be like, far out, like forgot that was coming back.
And it's only $15 a month, but I guess you times it by 2 people, for example, on top of like a more Google storage for $2 a month or whatever it is.
Yes.
Pretty soon you're losing $50 a month, which can cover a lot of things, right? It can cover a nice, an average meal out, a burrito or two, cover a lot of things. Times that over a year and you're potentially losing hundreds. So yeah, being a caretaker of money is a good way to spin it. Just important, like especially with interest rates, they're kind of steadying out now, but like with interest rates climbing for the last 12 months or so, everything's more expensive, but it's not like they're all going to come back down. They're just at their new high and they're going to stay that high.
Yes.
It's not like milk's gone from $2 to $4 and now it's going to go back from 4 to 2. Like, is this going to stay at that higher level now until the next sort of dramatic increase in interest rates until it's $6? Like, yeah, everyone hears about their parents buying loaf of bread for 15 cents, right?
Well, houses for $40,000.
It never goes after like these increases in interest in inflation. Things just don't like ever fall back. Like,
no,
you don't really
it's
get
just the new normal.
negative or deflation. Yeah, I mean, you can. I don't know that much about it, but like nothing's going to go back the other way.
No, it rarely would. It would be like as if your pay would just suddenly like decrease per week. It's not going to go back. It's only ever going to either be the same or rise.
Same with houses.
Yeah.
Like these $1 million properties in Sydney aren't going to 700,000 anytime soon.
No.
The odds of them going to that are much, much lower compared to going to 2 million.
Yes.
So I pray for the kiddos that enter the world in the next 50 years and have $10 million properties.
Hopefully their wages have gone up by then.
Well, I don't know if they will because of this whole AI thing and automation. There's going to be less and less jobs. Like, I think we're getting closer and closer to this universal basic income strategy where everything is so advanced and technology has gone so far and advanced so fast that there's so many jobs and roles that are either redundant or just don't need physical manual human labor involved, which leaves millions and millions or hundreds of millions of people left kind of useless in the world. And they can't just all become homeless or anything. Like, the governments have to start introducing some sort of basic income to satisfy their shelter and food. And then if they can make more money on top of that, they can go ahead and do that. That's the kind of the concept in a very small nutshell.
Gotcha.
Essentially, at some point, like, there's just not enough jobs left after everything is so automated and so controlled by the robots or potentially the aliens.
Yeah, either or. Like, that's going to happen. Like, and it's one of those things. So then, like, what skills are going to be essential in a couple of years' time or, in 20 years' time? Like, what's going to be the one thing that's going to get you through? It's like, is it just going to be that coding? Is it going to be like the creative aspect? Because, like, the creative aspect is probably going to be one of the hardest things for AI to.
Creativity doesn't, like, depends how you're creative. You can be creative in an art sense, but what makes the world go around is businesses. So it's business skills. And some of it can be controlled by robots and stuff or artificial intelligence, but like being creative, it's going to be more beneficial to be creative in more of like a critical thinking aspect as opposed to an artistic creativity.
Right.
So it's just a lot to take in. That's why you just got to sit back and watch HBO Max,
Yeah, just watch those, watch the new Harry Potter, for the next 10 years when it's out. It's going to be a long time
invested. Work on your wizarding skills. That can't be replaced.
Well, yeah, that's true. Just got to work on being able to
be a psychic or a magician.
Yeah. Make the rabbit disappear and all that kind of stuff. Maybe the doves fly out of my coat. Who knows?
Doves out of a coat?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a magic trick.
Do they fly out of coats or hats?
Both, I guess, depending on what kind of magician or illusionist you are. Chris Angel, he was popular.
I used to love those TV shows where they used to give up all the secrets.
Oh, it was called The Masked Magician.
Yeah.
Yes, I used to love that one. You never know who it was, but apparently it's like a different magician a lot of the times it was a different magician, but because they were masked, you just didn't know.
Imagine working on like your disappearing act for like 10 years and you finally master it, and then the next episode that comes out, it's just like, we're just showing
it was mirrors.
Well, Penn and Teller did that for a while, right? They did did you ever watch Penn and Teller bullshit?
Like it's just where they would do the act and then they'll show you like behind the scenes, right?
Yeah. Oh, actually, sorry. Bullshit was a different show.
No, that was the one where they used to judge magicians, right? And they'll be like,
No.
Oh, was that the one where people tried to trick them and then they would guess what the trick was?
I think it's a different one again.
Okay. I think they've had a few TV shows.
They have had a few TV shows. The Penn and Teller bullshit consisted of debating political topics. So that was more of a conspiracy debunking type of thing.
Right, like a Mythbusters sort of style.
Kind of like a Mythbusters. And then there was another one, you're right, where they had it's called Fool Us. They've done a lot of stuff in the past.
I used to like the Fool Us.
Fool Us was good.
Yeah.
And then I think at the end of 4 last, they used to do their own one.
Yes.
Their own magic stunt.
Mm-hmm.
Call it a stunt or act?
Magic
performance.
act. Yeah.
Kind of a stunt. And then they'd reveal it at the end.
Yes.
But some of the magicians would trick them with like different sleight of hand card tricks and stuff.
Yeah, and that would be like generally a maze. Like people that have been in the game for so long, it'd be so hard to actually trick them or actually like, you know, make them baffled to be like, how was this done? And like if you think about it, like I remember I used to love like, you know, the movies like The Prestige with Hugh Jackman or The Illusionist with Edward Norton. And it was just like so much time and even like creativity to try and like decide or try and even create that kind of thing. Like The Illusionist was really good because he would like make these little like puzzles and that kind of thing. It's a really good movie. That's a good one. Yeah, I've got one on you, so we can watch that at some point.
Isn't there one with Simon Baker, the Aussie guy?
Simon Baker, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, The Illusionist is like The Illusionist and The Prestige was like released around about the same time, but I think I like The Illusionist more.
There's 2 movies called The Illusionist, 2006, 2010. Which one are we talking here?
Edward Norton one?
2006.
Okay, yeah.
Never seen it. Can you pull it up for a sec? Oh, Paul Giamatti, classic. Jessica Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know the rest of them though. The central romance where Edward Norton's title character and Jessica Biel's Duchess are star-crossed lovers. Are you sure this is about what you're talking about?
Yeah. He pulls the wool over everybody's eyes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I've got a lot of stuff to catch up on.
Yeah, usually Edward Norton movies are generally pretty good, so yeah.
He's except for Hulk.
Yeah, that was a bit of a weird one.
Wait, let's make this decision right now. Best Hulk. We got Mark Ruffalo.
Yep.
Edward Norton.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Aussie favorite.
What's his name? Banner?
Eric Bana.
Eric Banner.
Or Poiter.
Poiter?
You ever watched,
The Castle? No. Poiter. No, was that Full Frontal? Was it that he was in?
I don't know if it was Full Frontal or Fast Forward, one of those.
It might have been Fast Forward was the skit show.
It's a very Full Frontal.
Poiter. Look at that mullet. I can't believe mullets have made a comeback as well.
They have made a comeback.
I think was it the last episode we're talking about mullets?
It's story time with Peter.
This is one of my favourite characters back in the day. Crowd
Right, kids, today I'm going to be reading to you from this top little book, right? It's a great little novel, and it's called Snow White and the 7 Little Dwarfies. Here we go. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful young princess who lived in a beautiful castle. Sort of a beautiful lake full of beautiful fish. Pretty boring, isn't it?
Yeah, favourite Hulk?
I think Mark Ruffalo is probably the best one.
I think so too.
I think he does it well.
I'm a big fan of Mark Ruffalo. Watched a bunch of his movies lately.
He's good.
The Eric Bana's,
It's the Eric Bana one's very
special
corny.
place in my heart.
Yeah, he tried to like make it too serious, but that's just who he is.
Mark
Like
Ruffalo.
you have to have a bit of like comedic sort of like chops to like play a big green dude.
And I think that he had, with Mark Ruffalo, they had the whole backing of the Avengers.
Yes.
Production, everything, and the
100%.
other like they wouldn't have put him in if they knew he wasn't going to play like a great version of it because they were invested in so many other actors to like pull the Avengers together as well. So Mark Ruffalo, definitely the goat.
I think so.
Hulk goat.
Who was the original Hulk? Like he was a wrestler dude, right? Because
his name's on the tip of my tongue.
Luke Ferrigno.
I don't think it's Luke.
Something Ferrigno.
Ferrigno.
No, it wouldn't have been Luke.
Lou Ferrigno.
Loof. What? Lou?
Lou.
Loof.
Luke, you're pretty damn close.
Yeah.
But I think they're making you don't have to bring it up. It's
Okay.
just, you can if you want. He's just a beast.
Because like he was just like painted green.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know who would have made a good Hulk as well? The guy that ended up playing Thanos.
No, do you mean the other wrestler guy?
He's not a wrestler.
Thanos. The dude that was
Josh Brolin.
the Goonies guy.
Is he from Goonies?
Yeah, Josh Brolin. He was like he was the Goonies' older brother.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. I mean, we've just got so many throwbacks here.
Yeah.
He could have played a good Hulk, but he's pretty better at Thanos.
Like, well, he's not. If you have a look at actual Josh Brolin, he's not like a super big dude.
He's pretty fucking big.
No, they would have, like, a lot of it was CGI. Like, he's like a chunky guy, but he's not like massively like buff.
I believe there's a new Hulk thing. Oh, I mean, we've got She-Hulk, which I don't think anyone really wants.
No. Oh, like, I think people like it, but
I believe there was a new one
it.
coming.
New Hulk movie.
Like a TV.
There's like a big one of the comic books is like Hulk and Wolverine. When they go and fight in Asgard, I think from memory. I'm trying to throw out my comic book chops here, but yeah. Could be a good one.
What is the World War Hulk movie Marvel leaked a few years ago? Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many to keep track of. Because you know how they do these, Marvel do these, like, this is our, what do they call them?
They call them phase 1, phase 2. Yeah.
You hear about them, like, announcing, like, 20 TV shows and movies.
Mm-hmm.
Do they actually produce all of them? Or, like, so much time goes on that you're like, hey, you mentioned that 10 years ago. Where the hell is that movie?
I think that would be the thing. There would be some stuff that would fall through. Like, some actors would say no, like, the money for it would fall through, or they're just not happy with the script. But I see, yeah, there'd be some definitely that weren't made. For sure.
Yeah. What's the late? So before we get out, let's look at the last. Was phase 5 is the last phase?
Is it?
Let's see what's coming out. Because this will all be on. This will all be on Disney, right?
Yes, it would be. Yeah, because Marvel and Disney are in bed together.
So phase 5 from 2023. That's where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Up until 2024. Some of these websites are.
Like, I can even tell. Phase 4, phase 5.
So phase 4.
Oh, yeah, there's like a Hulk Hawkeye movie because people love Hawkeye.
The latest one was Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which I don't think did too well. I think Super Mario has done better than that already.
Oh, yeah, Super Mario is getting like heaps good reviews.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is about to drop.
Have you seen
this month, actually?
Have you seen like Jack Black just like going all out with like his promo
Mario?
and stuff?
Yeah.
He's even like just done a song. Like, have you seen like the Peaches song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, and he's just like wearing a suit and stuff, and like, what a like an OG dude for just like.
He just loves being the fool.
Yeah.
He does it so well.
Yeah. Well, like, he's like doing all this extra promo, and I bet no one even asked him to it. He's like, I'll just do it. It's fun. Yeah.
He's hella rich, and he just loves being a goofball. That's his thing. He enjoys. Yeah. He's not a friend. He's so committed to being a bit of a goofball that you actually don't view him as that. It's, you know, if someone wants to be a goofball, you can be like, that's lame.
Yeah.
Or that's just stupid. Why would you do that? But he's so committed to it and he pulls it off so well.
Yes.
You never really add like a negative connotation to it. You're just like, that was awesome. Like, every time.
You don't see him being like, oh, he's just making a fool of himself, whatever. You just be like, Jack Black's just being amazing again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And just like, I think for the fact that he has like such an amazing singing voice as well, like his vocal range is crazy.
They did a cover of, not Tom Petty. What's that country song? I don't know what country. He did an amazing cover with him and Carl Bass. I think a year or two ago, but I watched it recently, and he's just like, you'd think he just does like his School of Rock type singing, but he does like way better vocals in other songs and stuff. Anyway, we'll wrap it up with Marvel. We got Guardians of the Galaxy 3, The Marvels, Captain America, another one, Thunderbolts, never heard of it, Blade, which could be interesting.
I did love the Blade the Blade movies 1 and 2. Number 3 is really bad, so I don't recommend that one.
And then a bunch of kind of average looking TV shows. Daredevil could be interesting.
Yep.
So Daredevil, and I dare you, I'm looking for a way to end this episode. I dare you to come back to the episode next week.
Or I dare you to like and subscribe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yes.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Bye.